Garfield Gets a Life is a 1991 animated short film directed by John Sparey, written by Jim Davis, with a voice cast including, of course, Lorenzo Music as Garfield, Thom as John, and a really great supporting cast. And honestly, I didn't care for it, but I think I might be quite alone in that, because this has 7 out of 10 on IMDb across 485 reviews and ratings. It's not the largest pool of ratings, but that's still a pretty solid overall rating. So while I'm going to say I didn't like it, it seems like it does appeal to some people. So if you are a Garfield fan, you might enjoy it. Garfield points out to John that he needs to get a life, basically, because he spent the evening organising his sock draw. And this is something that John tries to pursue, and he goes to this rather creative school for people who need help with their personalities, and that part of it was relatively interesting. And then maybe he meets somebody along the way, but I won't say too much more about that opportunity. But obviously Garfield's not happy, and that's basically it, apart from what happens at the very end, but I won't spoil that. And I just found it to be very mundane and very dull, and I didn't really care for any of the characters other than the main characters, but any new characters that were brought into this, I just didn't find them very interesting. I didn't dislike them, that's certainly not the case, but I wasn't taken by them at all, and I just found the narrative to be not very fascinating. The animation quality is really good, that works very well. Garfield was sometimes interesting, but I don't think he was as funny as he often is. I do very much relate to Garfield's personality, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, and this just wasn't, for me, the best of the best when it comes to Garfield. His personality was fine, but maybe not as strong as some others, but nevertheless, I did like him in this, and I liked John in this as well. But as a narrative, I just thought it was rather slow, not very interesting. Do I think it could have been done better? I don't know. I think they handled it well enough with what they were trying to achieve. I just don't think it appeals very well. So it's not so much that I think they should have gone a different direction with it. It is definitely more just I didn't care for what was happening. I didn't really enjoy Garfield Gets a Life, but as I said, it does seem to be relatively well received. So if you are a Garfield fan and you haven't seen it, then I do recommend it. But if you're just looking for a fun story, and if you're new to Garfield, then I'd say Garfield Gets a Life is at least not the first one that I would recommend. Let's put it that way. I didn't like it. It's not terrible as such. It's not bad. The characters aren't badly written or badly animated. The narrative isn't unrealistic or anything. It's just not interesting. Garfield Gets a Life, unfortunately, is not one that worked for me at all.